Fall is almost here. The temperatures are cooling down, the leaves are getting ready to turn colors, and we're about to get an avalanche of new video game releases. But before then, we have September, which is a vast improvement over the last few months, with several high-profile game releases and a nice harbinger of things to come. It's hard to forget The Last of Us, mostly because it's a pretty great game, but also because it wasn't released all that long ago. Normally, remasters and remakes are reserved for old games that need a new coat of paint, but Naughty Dog is getting proactive and bringing this classic up to scratch before it really falls behind the times. Most of the improvements for this rework are cosmetic, with improved graphics and redone facial animation, but there's at least one solid gameplay improvement. No longer will your AI companions run out into the middle of things and spoil the illusion. At least they're not supposed to. Is it a remaster or is it a remake? It truly straddles the line, but it's certainly priced as a remake with a stiff $70 price tag for PlayStation 5. The PC version will reportedly be priced the same, but released at a later date. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is one of the few Japanese manga properties that has managed to cross over to the US, mostly due to a selection of rather mediocre video games. Perhaps this chain will be broken with All-Star Battle R. This 2D fighter is being developed by a team that's handled Dragon Ball and Naruto in the past, and it's got a deep fighting system to boot. Including 50 different playable fighters from across eras, you can build the Hamon meter and store its power until you need it, or use the stand ability to limit your opponent's actions. Some characters even have trusty steeds they can mount to dole out an extra layer of damage. Now, slather on assist characters, stylish guards that work as parries, and an easy beat combo system to link it all together. It looks to be a deep brawler with all the avant-garde wackiness the JoJo franchise is known for. We go from a traditional 2D Japanese fighting game to a Smash Bros. Clone with LEGO Brawls. Hot on the heels of the Smash free-to-play hit Multiversus, is there enough room for another entry in the subgenre so soon? And one that costs money? In true LEGO form, you do get to build your own fighter from a selection of bricks, but a lack of recognizable characters in a genre that's all about the characters could be an odd fit. The good news is that you can upgrade your characters to make them more powerful, but at $40, the publisher is counting on brand recognition and impulse purchases at the holidays to make it a success. The NBA season is still a month or two away from getting going, but 2K Games is well ahead of things with NBA 2K23. Its annual round ball sim is ready to take the court with a focus on authenticity. The hope is for victory via 1,000 paper cuts, as the changes are subtle but many, and most of them are on the offensive side after last year's defensive overhaul. Attack the basket with new gesture combos, new commands for metered skill dunks, new layup packages, and so much more. There's also more WNBA support, MyNBA What If scenarios to play through, and a bevy of My Team tweaks. It's the best and only NBA franchise on the market, and it's no redshirt year. The Splatoon franchise has shockingly moved up Nintendo's hierarchy to become one of its best-selling franchises. Who would have thought that a third-person shooter where you spray ink at human-squid hybrids would find a market? But that's exactly why. There's simply nothing else like it. New features for the third installment include 3-team matches, 2 brand new moves to utilize in the field, expanded cooperative options, another attempt at a single-player campaign, and that's about it. Yeah, it does seem like more of the same, but it comes loaded with 12 maps at launch to soften the blow. The Monkey Island Adventure franchise is one of the most successful in the industry, but it's been on a hiatus for far too long. It's been well over a decade since the last entry, but Return to Monkey Island is important for more than just that. Its development team features the return of Ron Gilbert, long regarded as the secret weapon of the franchise. The story continues from the ending of Monkey Island 2, so it is ignoring a couple releases that came afterwards, but it does include some classic elements that will keep fans happy. If you're looking for something more lighthearted to play this month, These games are almost always hilarious, but it's only available for PC and Switch out of the gate. As time goes on, it becomes more challenging to create new video game genres, but music and rhythm has proven to be the most pliable when it comes to nailing it onto something else. We've fought RPG battles, jumped on platforms, played sports, and so much more to the beat. Now, with Metal Hellsinger, we get a chance to blast demons. This first-person shooter challenges you to squeeze the trigger on time with music created by bands like System of a Down, Lamb of God, and Refused. So metal. Real metal. Not Metallica metal, more like death metal, but totally metal. It's a perfect combination. Every sword slash, reload, and gun report adds to the mix of madness. Blast demons to bits without getting covered in them, but only on next-gen consoles. Elden Ring is so big and challenging, some of you may still be struggling to finish it. Everyone else may be waiting for something similar. Enter Solstice. This challenging Souls-like hack-and-slash action RPG is set in a dark fantasy world where the unbreakable bond of sisterhood is put to the test. You play as two sisters named Briar and Lute, who must reclaim the city of Ilden. The catch is that one sister has sacrificed her life to become a magic-casting ghost. You must manage each sister separately. One handles attacks and combos, while the other is responsible for magic and powerful transformations. Combat is a little flashier than what you're used to with From's games. There's also more platforming that requires a little more attention and skill. If you miss the classic days of JRPGs on the Super Nintendo, Square Enix is doing its best to compensate. Recent releases like Triangle Strategy and Live Alive are keeping the vibe alive, and Deo Fuel Chronicle is looking to keep the good times rolling. This real-time strategy RPG features a war between nations, which has inspired comparisons to the classic Final Fantasy Tactics. Its development is being handled by the studio behind Lost Dimension, and some of the minds behind Shin Megami Tensei. There is no grid, there are no turns. Battles play out in real time much like a MOBA or RTS. You point and click to move units around the battlefield while firing off abilities, healing, or just retreating. Units do have zones of effectiveness, so placement does still matter a great deal. It's heavy on the jibber-jabber to ratchet up the political intrigue. We go from one JRPG to another with Valkyrie Elysium. This one is an action-focused follow-up to the PlayStation 1 classic Valkyrie Profile. While it's not a direct sequel, there's plenty of talk about Ragnarok and other Norse mythology buzzwords. It also features real-time combat, complete with extensive combos, juggles, parries, and counter kills. Allies will fight alongside you, or skulk and act forlorn like JRPG characters are apt to do. They're ready and willing to give their lives to achieve redemption, so perhaps the brooding is justified. The world is on the brink of destruction, and humanity is reaching its end after all. The PlayStation versions launch in September, but you'll have to wait until November for its PC release. Thanks for checking out our rundown of games worth investigating for September of 2022. It's a solid month, and things are only going to get better for the rest of the year. To keep track of all the madness, keep your browser pointed to sifted.net, and if you like what we're doing, head to patreon.com/sifted and drop us a pledge. We'll see you again in October.